They tell you cooperation is simple. You wear the wire. You have the conversation. You go home. They don't tell you that the weight of a recording device feels like a tumor growing against your ribs, or that you'll forget how to breathe normally, or that the man across the table might already know what you're doing. I'm sitting in a federal safe house in South Seattle at 3 in the morning, watching rain crawl down bulletproof glass. There's an agent outside my door, another in a car downstairs. Agent Voss says I'm protected. But protected from what, exactly? The people I'm helping them catch, or the life I built on foundations I never examined. 6 weeks ago, I was untouchable. Marcus Hale, the guy who sold quantum encryption software to every Fortune 500 company that wanted to pretend their secrets were safe. $4.2 billion exit. TED Talk. Profile in Wired. My daughter Sienna thought I was Iron Man in a suit. Then Agent Kira Voss walked into Sienna's piano recital during intermission. I was holding a program, smiling like fathers do, when she appeared beside me in the lobby. Dark blonde hair pulled back so tight it looked painful. Black suit. No expression. Mr. Hale, I need 3 minutes. She showed me a photograph on her phone. My signature on a wire transfer authorization. $200 million to a Cayman account I'd never heard of. Timestamp. 14 months ago. My handwriting. My account. I didn't authorize that, I said. I know, she said. But someone did. Using your access. And they've done it 47 more times since then. If you're hearing this right now, help me prove something wrong. My mom thinks I'm wasting my time doing this, but if you subscribe, it reminds me that I'm not. The wire is smaller than you'd think. Adhesive patch, no bigger than a nicotine square, right below my collarbone. Kira applied it herself in an unmarked van 3 blocks from the restaurant. Her hands were steady. Mine were shaking. Just have a normal conversation, she said. Ask about the Jakarta expansion like we discussed. He'll bring up the routing protocols. When he does, ask about implementation timeline. That's when he'll incriminate himself. And if he doesn't, then we try again. She met my eyes. You're doing the right thing, Mr. Hale. I wanted to believe her. Elijah Cross doesn't look like a criminal. He looks like American success. Silver hair, perfectly cut, navy 3-piece suit that probably cost what most people make in a month. Signet ring catching light when he gestures. We've known each other 8 years. He was my Series C lead investor. Showed up at my wedding. Sent a crystal decanter when Sienna was born. He's already seated when I arrive. Corner table at Canlis, overlooking Lake Union. He stands, smiles, shakes my hand with both of his. Marcus, you look tired. Quarterly reports, I lie. The price of exit. He signals the waiter. You sleep better after you've sold. Trust me. We order. We talk about the Mariners. About his new Gulfstream. The wine arrives, a Bordeaux he selected. Something obscure and perfect. I can feel the wire against my chest like a brand. Every word I speak feels like it's being weighed by invisible judges. Then Elijah leans back, swirls his wine, and says something that stops my heart. How's Agent Voss treating you? I don't move. Don't blink. The restaurant noise, silverware, laughter, kitchen clatter, becomes white static. I'm sorry, Kira Voss. FBI. Financial crimes. His smile doesn't change. Attractive woman. Bit intense. I imagine the safe house is uncomfortable. Those places always are. He takes a sip of wine. I can't feel my hands. You're wondering how I know, he continues, voice gentle, almost kind. Marcus. I built the surveillance infrastructure half the federal agencies use. Did you think I wouldn't notice when they started running my own software against me? He sets down his glass. The wire you're wearing is transmitting to a receiver in a van 2 blocks west. Silver Dodge Caravan. Agent Chun is monitoring. Agent Voss is probably listening from the field office, hoping I'll say something incriminating. He pauses. I won't. I should run. I should signal distress. I should do anything except sit here, frozen. Here's what's going to happen, Elijah says. You're going to finish this excellent dinner. You're going to go back to the safe house. You're going to tell Agent Voss that I didn't say anything useful. And then you're going to call me. Because, Marcus. He leans forward. The people you think are protecting you are the ones you should fear most. I'm back in the safe house now. Kira is angry but contained. The wire caught everything. She says it doesn't matter that he knows. We have him threatening a federal informant. It's leverage. But I keep thinking about what Elijah said. About fear. About who to trust. And I keep wondering, if he knew I was wired, why did he let me record him saying he knew? What game is actually being played here? The Seattle FBI field office is exactly what you'd expect. Beige walls, bad fluorescent lighting. Coffee that tastes like burnt regret. Kira Voss leads me through security at 7 a.m. Past agents who don't look at me because they know what I am. Informant. Rat. The guy who built an empire and didn't ask the right questions. She doesn't speak until we're in a conference room on the 4th floor. No windows. A table covered in file folders, each one labeled with dates going back a decade. She closes the door. Elijah Cross didn't just use your software for insider trading, she says. He built an entire shadow market around it. She opens the first folder. Stock transactions. Hundreds of them. Trades executed minutes before FDA announcements, merger news, earnings reports. Always perfectly timed. Always through shell corporations that dissolve within months. $12 billion, Kira says. That's what we can trace. The real number is probably triple that. I stare at the pages. Numbers. Dates. Company names I recognize. My software wasn't designed for this, I say. No. It was designed to protect information. Elijah just realized that if you control the protection, you control the information itself. She slides another folder across the table. Your quantum encryption doesn't just secure data. It creates blind spots. Places where transactions become invisible to regulators, to auditors, to everyone except the people who hold the keys. I sold him security architecture. Not. You sold him a weapon, Marcus. What he did with it isn't your fault legally. But morally? She lets the question hang. There are 43 folders on this table. Each one is someone's life destroyed. Pension funds gutted. Retail investors bankrupted. Market manipulations, so precise they look like luck until you see the pattern. Why me? I ask. If you've been investigating him for years, why did you need me? Kira pulls out a chair. Sits. For the first time since I met her, she looks tired. My father was an investor, she says quietly. Small time. Saved for 30 years, played it safe, did everything right. In 2019, he put his retirement into a pharmaceutical company based on what he thought was solid research. The stock tripled in a week. Then the FDA rejected their main drug. Stock collapsed. He lost everything. She opens another folder. Inside is a transaction record. Elijah Cross shorted that company 4 days before the announcement. Made $83 million. My father lost his house. She looks at me. He died of a heart attack 6 months later. Stress. Medical bills he couldn't pay. The silence in the room is absolute. I've been building this case for 3 years, she says. But Elijah is smart. Everything runs through encrypted channels. Your encrypted channels. We can track the money, but we can't prove intent without access to his communications. And the only person who can get us that access is someone he trusts, I finish. She nods. I stand. Walk to the evidence wall. Someone has created a network map. Elijah's name in the center. Lines connecting to dozens of other names. Executives. Politicians. Hedge fund managers. And there, in the outer ring, my name. Marcus Hale. Connected by a red line labeled infrastructure provider. Then I see it. Another name in the web. Nina Hale. My ex-wife. Why is Nina on here? Kira's expression doesn't change. Your ex-wife worked as outside counsel for 3 of the shell corporations Elijah used between 2018 and 2021. We don't think she knew what they were being used for. But she would never. I know. That's not why her name is there. Kira stands. It's there because Elijah selected her specifically. He needed legitimate legal cover. Someone smart enough to structure the entities correctly, but ethical enough not to ask certain questions. He used her expertise the same way he used your software. My hands are shaking. Nina and I divorced 4 years ago. The marriage ended over my work obsession, my inability to be present, my conviction that building something important justified any sacrifice. She got custody of Sienna. I got visitation and guilt. And, the whole time, we were both being played. What do you need me to do? I ask. Kira pulls out a slim black device. Looks like an external hard drive. Elijah keeps his real records offline. Air gap system in his home office. No network connection. Completely isolated. She sets the device on the table. This is a data bridge. You plug it into his system for 60 seconds. It clones everything. You remove it. Clean extraction. You want me to break into his house. I want you to accept a dinner invitation. He'll offer one. Probably soon. Men like Elijah enjoy the performance of dominance. He'll want to show you he's not afraid. She slides the device toward me. When he gives you the tour, when he shows you his art collection or his wine cellar or whatever trophy room he's built, you'll find a way to access his office. That's burglary. That's the only way we end this. Her voice is steel. Legal subpoenas don't work on air gap systems. We need physical access. You're the only person he'll invite into his home. I look at the device. Small. Innocuous. The kind of thing that could fit in a jacket pocket. And if he catches me, he won't. You're smarter than you think you are, Marcus. I pick up the device. It's heavier than it looks. There's something you're not telling me, I say. Kira hesitates. Just for a second. But I see it. Elijah said something at the restaurant. About the people protecting me being the ones I should fear. I set the device down. What did he mean? She meets my eyes. Calculating something. We have a leak, she says finally. Somewhere in the investigation. Not in my immediate team, but somewhere in the chain. Someone's been feeding Elijah information. That's how he knew about the wire. Jesus Christ. Which is why this has to be fast. You get the invitation, you plant the device, you get out. 48 hours, maximum. Before whoever's helping him realizes what we're doing. I think about Sienna. 14 years old, piano recitals and algebra homework, and the way she still hugs me like I'm someone worth believing in. If this goes wrong, it won't. If it does, my daughter loses her father. Kira's expression softens. Just slightly. My father lost everything because men like Elijah Cross treat the world like a game they've already won, she says. Your daughter still has a chance to grow up in a world where people like him face consequences. That's worth the risk. I pocket the device. As I leave the field office, I pass a photograph on Kira's desk I didn't notice before. Her and an older man, her father, I assume, standing in front of a small sailboat. Both smiling. Before the collapse. Before the choice between bankruptcy and death. I wonder if she keeps it there to remind herself why she does this work. Or to remind herself what she's willing to sacrifice to finish it. Elijah calls on a Thursday. Not to my cell. He's smarter than that. He calls the landline at my Seattle condo, a number I haven't given anyone in 3 years. The phone rings at midnight. I'm awake, staring at ceiling shadows, when I answer. Marcus. His voice is warm, familiar. I hope I'm not disturbing you. It's midnight. Is it? I lose track. A pause. I'm hosting a small dinner tomorrow evening. San Francisco. My home. I'd very much like you to attend. There it is. The invitation Kira predicted. I'm not sure I'm the best company right now, I say. Nonsense. You're exactly the company I need. Another pause. We have things to discuss. Private things. The kind that require a certain environment. What kind of things? The kind that determine what happens next. His tone shifts, still friendly, but with an edge underneath. Come to dinner, Marcus. Let's talk like old friends. Let's be honest with each other for once. He gives me an address in Pacific Heights. 7 p.m. Cocktail attire. Will anyone else be there? I ask. Just us. Some conversations are better kept intimate. He hangs up before I can respond. I drive to Nina's house in Bellevue the next morning. She lives in a craftsman bungalow with a garden she actually maintains, the opposite of the glass modernist box we shared during our marriage. Her car is in the driveway. I sit in mine for 5 minutes, building courage. She opens the door before I knock. Shoulder-length black hair, cream blazer, reading glasses on a gold chain around her neck. The expression on her face could freeze nitrogen. "Sienna's at school," she says. "Whatever this is, you have 10 minutes." Inside, her home is everything ours wasn't, warm, lived in, filled with books and plants and photographs. I see pictures of Sienna everywhere. Science fair, birthday parties, piano recitals. A life I'm part of, but not present for. "You're on an FBI evidence board," I say. Nina sets down her coffee. "Excuse me." Elijah Cross, the investor I worked with. He's under investigation for securities fraud. You did legal work for some of his shell companies. They think you might be involved. The color drains from her face. I structured 3 Delaware corporations for him in 2019. Standard work. I had no idea. I know. They know. But your name is there, and Elijah chose you specifically because you wouldn't ask questions. She sits down slowly. "He used me. He used both of us." "No, Marcus." Her voice is sharp now. "He used your software, your genius, your obsession with building something important. I was just collateral damage in your story." She looks at me. "Do you know why I divorced you? Because I worked too much. Because you never saw the cost of what you were building. You were so focused on the technology, on the vision, you never stopped to ask who you were empowering or what they might do with it." She stands. "And now the FBI is at my door because you built weapons and handed them to a sociopath." The words hit like a physical blow. "I'm trying to fix this," I say. "By doing what? Becoming an informant? Playing spy?" She crosses her arms. "Sienna asked me last week if you were in trouble. She's 14, Marcus. She can tell something's wrong. What am I supposed to tell her? Tell her I'm handling it. Are you?" She studies my face. "You look terrified." "I am. But I don't say it. I'm having dinner with Elijah tomorrow night," I say instead. "The FBI wants me to copy his files. If I do this, it ends. He goes to prison. We're clear." Nina removes her glasses, pinches the bridge of her nose. "And if it goes wrong, it won't. That's what you said about the company, about the encryption, about all of it." She puts her glasses back on. "You keep thinking you're smart enough to control the chaos you create. One day, you'll learn you're not." I leave without responding. There's nothing to say. She's right. Kira's team runs me through the extraction procedure in a warehouse south of Seattle. Agent Chun, young, methodical, speaks in bullet points. Shows me how the data bridge works. Plug it into any USB port. Wait for the green light. 45 seconds. Remove. Done. What if the system requires a password? I ask. It won't. Air gap systems usually rely on physical security, not digital locks. Chun hands me a backup device. If something goes wrong with the primary, use this. Same procedure. We rehearse it 20 times. I practice palming the device, walking naturally with it concealed, making small talk while counting seconds in my head. By the end, my hands have stopped shaking. Kira watches from the corner. When we finish, she approaches. "You don't have to do this," she says quietly. "Yes, I do." "Why?" I think about Sienna, about Nina's words, about the evidence board with all those names connected to mine. "Because I built the weapon," I say. "Someone should at least try to take it back." That night, I stand in Sienna's doorway while she sleeps. Her room is covered in marine biology posters. She wants to study oceanography, save the reefs, fix something broken. She's wearing headphones even in sleep, probably fell asleep listening to music. There's a photo on her nightstand. The 3 of us at the San Juans, before the divorce. Before everything collapsed. I want to wake her. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'm sorry for every choice that led here. Instead, I close the door quietly and leave for the airport. Elijah's estate sits in the hills above San Francisco, accessible only by a private road that winds through eucalyptus groves. The house itself is a modernist masterpiece, all glass and cantilevered steel, perched on the hillside like a predatory bird. Security cameras track my rental car as I approach. Motion sensors. Probably facial recognition. A valet meets me at the entrance. Young. Professional. Takes my keys without speaking. The front door opens before I reach it. Elijah stands in the entryway, backlit by warm interior light. Silver hair perfect. Navy three-piece suit. That signet ring catching the glow. Marcus. He extends his hand. Welcome. I shake it. His grip is firm, dry, confident. Beautiful home, I say. Thank you. I had it designed specifically for the view. Come. Let me show you. He leads me inside. The entry opens into a massive living space. 30-foot ceilings. Walls of glass overlooking the San Francisco Bay. Art everywhere. Real art. Rothko. Diebenkorn. A sculpture that might be a Giacometti. Drink, he offers. Bourbon. Neat. He pours from a crystal decanter. Hands me the glass. Our eyes meet. I'm glad you came, he says. We have a great deal to discuss. The house feels like a trap closing, and I've walked into it willingly. Dinner is served by silent staff who materialize and vanish like ghosts. Chilean sea bass. Heirloom tomatoes that probably cost more than most people's weekly groceries. Wine from Elijah's private cellar, a vintage that predates my birth. We eat at a table for 12 with just 2 place settings, separated by 8 feet of polished walnut. Tell me, Marcus, Elijah says, cutting his fish with surgical precision. Do you believe in moral luck? I'm not sure I know what that means. The philosopher Bernard Williams proposed that our moral standing depends partly on factors beyond our control. A drunk driver who hits no one is judged differently than one who kills a child, even though their choices were identical. Same action, different outcome, different moral weight. He takes a sip of wine. You built encryption software. I used it to generate wealth. Your moral standing depends entirely on what I chose to do with the tool you created. That's moral luck. Or moral accountability, I say. He smiles. Whose? Mine for using the tool, or yours for creating it without considering its applications. The data bridge is in my jacket pocket, hanging on a chair 12 feet away. I can feel its absence like a missing tooth. I created it to protect information, I say. And it does. Beautifully. He sets down his fork. The issue, Marcus, is that protection and concealment are the same technology. You can't build one without enabling the other. Every security system is simultaneously a hiding place. You knew this. You simply chose not to think about it. I chose to trust the people I worked with. Did you? Or did you choose not to look too closely because the money was excellent and the work was fascinating? His eyes don't leave mine. That's not trust, Marcus. That's willful blindness. And now Agent Voss has convinced you that cooperation absolves you of responsibility. My hand tightens on my wine glass. She told you about her father, I assume, Elijah continues. The retirement fund. The pharmaceutical trade. Very tragic. Very effective recruitment narrative. He pauses. Did she mention that her father was investing on margin? That he was leveraged 3-to-1 in a single biotech stock despite his advisor warning him repeatedly? That his heart attack occurred during an argument with his daughter about his refusal to declare bankruptcy. I set down my glass. How do you? I know everything, Marcus. That's the point. He leans back. Kira Voss is a brilliant investigator driven by personal vendetta and survivor's guilt. She's told you I'm the villain. But villains don't exist in reality. Only people making choices based on incomplete information. All of us gambling with loaded dice. The staff clears our plates. Elijah stands. Come. Let me show you the rest of the house. The tour is a performance. He walks me through rooms designed to intimidate, a library with first editions behind glass, a screening room with seats from a demolished movie palace, a gym that looks like a surgical theater. Every space is perfect, controlled, nothing accidental. You collect art, I say as we pass a Basquiat. I collect beautiful things. Art, wine, people in a sense. He stops before a Rothko, deep reds bleeding into blacks. This was painted in 1958. Rothko was exploring the void, the absence of meaning. He committed suicide 12 years later. Elijah tilts his head. Beauty and destruction, Marcus. Often the same thing. We descend to the wine cellar, temperature controlled. Pin lights illuminating bottles worth more than houses. Elijah selects one, studies the label, returns it. The challenge with great wine, he says, is knowing when to open it. Too early, it hasn't developed. Too late, it's past its peak. Timing is everything. My jacket is still upstairs. The data bridge inside it. I'm running out of time. Is there a bathroom nearby? I ask. Up the stairs, first door on your right. Take your time. I climb back to the main floor. The bathroom is where he indicated, marble and chrome, a window overlooking the bay. I count to 60. Flush the toilet for sound. Then I step into the hallway. His office is 3 doors down. I know because I memorized the architectural photos online during the flight. The door is closed but not locked. I slip inside. The room is Spartan compared to the rest of the house. A desk, a single chair, floor-to-ceiling windows, and against the far wall, a workstation, 3 monitors, a tower system, no network cables, air-gapped. Exactly what Kira described. I remove the data bridge from my pocket. My hands are steady now. All the fear has crystallized into focus. The USB port is on the front of the tower. I plug in the device. A small LED begins blinking red. The monitors are in sleep mode. I shouldn't wake them. But something makes me tap the keyboard. The screens illuminate. And I see something I wasn't prepared for. It's not financial records. Not trading algorithms. Not transaction histories. It's a personnel file. FBI personnel. Agent profiles. Photographs. Performance reviews. Security clearances. And there, on the center monitor, Agent Kira Voss. Her service record. Commendations. Current assignments. Personal information. Her father's death, her mother's remarriage, her apartment address in Seattle. But that's not what stops my heart. It's the metadata at the top of the file. Last accessed, 48 hours ago. Accessed by redacted authorized user. The file came from inside the FBI. The data bridge LED turns green. Download complete. I should remove it and run. Instead, I scroll down. There are other files. Other agents. Dates of access. Patterns of information extraction going back 3 years. Someone inside the FBI has been feeding Elijah everything. Not just information about the investigation. Everything. I hear footsteps in the hallway. I yank the data bridge free, pocket it, slam the keyboard to put the monitors back to sleep. The office door is opening as I step behind it, pressed against the wall, not breathing. Elijah enters, walks to his desk, sets down a wine glass. He doesn't turn on the lights, just stands there in the darkness, silhouetted against the bay window. Marcus, he says quietly, I know you're here. My heart is a drum, a fist, a countdown. Come out. Let's talk like adults. I step from behind the door. He turns. His expression isn't angry. It's almost sad. Did you find what you were looking for? He asks. I don't know what you mean. The data bridge in your pocket. FBI issued, I assume. Kira's team built it specifically to clone air-gap systems. He walks to the window. Did you really think I wouldn't know the moment you plugged it in? This entire system is instrumented. The second you made contact, I received an alert. My throat is sand. Here's what you don't understand, Elijah says. I didn't invite you here to stop you. I invited you here to show you the truth. He gestures at the dark monitors. You saw the files. You know what they mean. Someone inside the FBI is feeding you information. Not someone. Multiple people. Different divisions. Different levels. He turns to face me. The corruption you're trying to expose? It doesn't live in my house, Marcus. It lives in theirs. And Kira Voss is either too blind to see it or too complicit to care. You're lying. Am I? Then why did I let you complete the download? He steps closer. That device in your pocket now contains everything. The personnel files, the access logs, the names of every person who's been helping me. Take it to Kira. Show her. Watch what happens when she realizes her investigation has been compromised from the inside. I back toward the door. Or don't, Elijah says. Destroy the device. Pretend this conversation never happened. Go back to your safe house and your illusion that you're helping. Either way, Marcus, you've already made your choice. What choice? Whether to be a pawn or a player. His smile is thin. Most people never graduate from the first category. I'm giving you the opportunity to join the second. I run. Down the hallway. Past the Rothko and the Basquiat. Out the front door where the valet is already pulling up my rental car, keys in the ignition. Like they knew I'd be leaving in a hurry. I drive too fast down the winding road, away from the house, the city lights of San Francisco spreading below me like a circuit board. The data bridge is in my pocket, and I have no idea who I can trust with what's on it. The safe house feels different when you return knowing it might be compromised. Same beige walls. Same agents outside. Same bulletproof glass reflecting Seattle rain. But now every surface feels like it might have ears. Every shadow might hide a camera. I lock the bedroom door. Sit on the floor with my laptop and the data bridge. My hands are shaking again as I plug it in. The download took 45 seconds. Examining the contents takes 3 hours. It's worse than I imagined. The files are organized like corporate records, dates, transaction types, information categories. Someone treated treason like bookkeeping. There are FBI case files dating back 6 years. Evidence logs, witness statements, strategic planning documents. All of it copied and transmitted to external accounts I can trace directly to Elijah's network. But it's the personnel access logs that destroy me. 17 different FBI employees access these files. Analysts, field agents. 1 assistant director. Some accessed once or twice, probably bought off for specific pieces of information. Others accessed regularly over years. A systematic infection. And then I find the primary source. The account with the highest access frequency. The person who opened the door for all the others. The username is partially redacted, but the access pattern is unmistakable. Hundreds of logins. Files pulled from evidence management, witness protection, internal affairs, financial crimes. The last access was 36 hours ago. The file downloaded. Marcus Hale case summary. Informant status. Safe house location. Handler assignment. Handler assignment. Special Agent Kira Voss. I close the laptop. Stand. Walk to the window. Watch rain and think about moral luck and loaded dice, and how sometimes the game is rigged before you sit down at the table. There's a knock at the door. Marcus. Kira's voice. You've been in there for 4 hours. I need to debrief. I open the door. She's still in her black suit, hair still pulled back tight, but there are dark circles under her eyes now. She looks exhausted. Or maybe I'm just seeing her differently. How did it go? She asks. I got the data. Relief crosses her face. Any problems? He knew I was there. He let me complete the download anyway. Her expression hardens. What do you mean he let you? I hand her the data bridge. See for yourself. She takes it to the dining table. Opens her own laptop. Plugs in the device. I watch her face as she scrolls through the files. Watch the moment comprehension hits. Her jaw tightens. Her breathing changes. Jesus Christ, she whispers. 17 people, I say. Inside the FBI. Feeding him everything for years. She scrolls faster, searching for something specific. Then she stops. Stares at the screen. This can't be right, she says quietly. What? She turns the laptop toward me. On screen, an internal communication. Subject line, Voss Investigation Risk Assessment. Date, 2 weeks ago. Sender, Deputy Director Carlson. The email discusses Kira's investigation into Elijah Cross. It evaluates the risk of her getting too close. It recommends containment strategies. And it was forwarded to an external encrypted account. Carlson is my boss, Kira says. Her voice is hollow. I report directly to him. Every piece of evidence, every strategic decision, every witness interview. He knows all of it. And he's been telling Elijah. I finish. She stands. Paces. For the first time since I met her, the armor cracks. 3 years. 3 fucking years I've been building this case. And the entire time. She stops. Looks at me. This is why nothing stuck. Every angle I pursued, he was ready. Every witness we approached suddenly developed amnesia or disappeared. It wasn't that Elijah was brilliant. It's that he knew our moves before we made them. What do we do? I ask. We. She laughs bitterly. Marcus, there is no we. If Carlson is compromised, we can't trust the chain of command. We can't trust evidence submission. We can't trust internal affairs. The entire investigation is poisoned. Then we go to someone higher, the director, the Justice Department. With what proof? This data was obtained through an illegal search. You broke into Elijah's house and stole files from an air-gap system. None of this is admissible. And the moment we present it, Carlson will bury us both. She sits down heavily, puts her face in her hands. My father died believing the system failed him, she says quietly. I spent 3 years trying to prove it could still work. That justice still meant something. She looks up. Elijah wasn't wrong. The corruption isn't in his house. It's in mine. I sit across from her. So we burn it all down. How? You're an FBI agent. You have access to media contacts, journalists. You leak everything. Every name, every transaction, every piece of evidence. Force it into the light where they can't bury it. That's career suicide. I'd be arrested for unauthorized disclosure. Would you rather be complicit in covering it up? She meets my eyes. For a long moment, neither of us speaks. Then her phone rings. She glances at the screen, frowns. It's my office line. No one should be calling this late. She answers. Voss. I watch her face change. Color draining. Eyes widening. When? Pause. Is she hurt? Pause. No. Don't do anything. I'm coming in. She ends the call. Looks at me with something that might be pity. What happened? I ask. That was the duty officer. Someone filed a suspicious activity report. A man approached a teenage girl outside her school in Bellevue this afternoon. Asked questions about her father. Showed her a photograph. She pauses. The girl was Sienna, your daughter. The room tilts. Nina called it in immediately. School security pulled footage. The man was a private investigator, registered to a firm in San Francisco. She stands. Marcus. The firm is owned by one of Elijah's shell companies. My phone vibrates. Text message. Unknown number. I open it. A photograph. Sienna leaving her school, backpack over one shoulder, talking to a man in a dark jacket whose face is deliberately angled away from the camera. Below it a message. Asterisk. Your daughter is beautiful, talented, vulnerable. You have something that belongs to me. I have access to something you love. Let's discuss an exchange. E asterisk. I can't breathe. Can't think. The world reduces to a single point. My daughter's face in that photograph, unaware she's being hunted. He's threatening Sienna, I say. Kira reads the message over my shoulder. Her expression goes cold. This is felony witness intimidation. We can use this. Use this? He's threatening my child. And if you give him what he wants, he'll destroy the only evidence we have and walk away clean. She grabs my shoulders. Marcus, listen to me. We can protect Sienna. Witness protection. Relocation. 24-hour security. You can't even protect your own investigation. This is different. This is a direct threat against a minor. That changes the equation. The equation? I step back. This is my daughter. This isn't chess. This isn't strategy. This is Sienna's life. My phone rings. Nina. I answer. Nina. What the fuck did you do? Her voice is raw. Terrified. Some man approached Sienna. Showed her your picture. Asked where you've been. What did you do, Marcus? I'm handling it. You're handling it? The police are at my house. The FBI is calling. There's a car outside we don't recognize. She's crying now. You said it would be over. You said you were fixing things. I am. I just need. I want you away from us. Whatever you're involved in, whatever you've done, I want you gone. Stay away from Sienna. Stay away from me. Her voice breaks. You've destroyed everything you touch. Don't destroy her too. She hangs up. I stand there, phone in hand, feeling the architecture of my life collapse. Kira is watching me. What are you going to do? I look at the laptop, at the data bridge, at the evidence that could expose 17 corrupt FBI employees and bring down a billionaire who treats human beings like chess pieces. Then I look at the photograph of Sienna on my phone. Unaware, innocent, targeted because I thought I could play hero. I'm going to make a deal, I say. Marcus, I'm calling Elijah. I'm giving him the data. And I'm getting my daughter to safety. If you do that, everything we've uncovered dies. Carlson stays in place. The corruption continues. Nothing changes. Then nothing changes. I meet her eyes. You asked me once why I was doing this. I said, because I built the weapon. But I was wrong. I'm doing this because 3 years ago, I chose work over family. I chose building something important over being present for the people who needed me. I'm not making that choice again. Kira's expression is unreadable. Your ex-wife was right about you. What? You keep thinking you're smart enough to control the chaos you create. She picks up the data bridge. But you're not. None of us are. We just decide what we're willing to sacrifice and call it morality. She walks to the door, stops, doesn't turn around. For what it's worth, she says quietly, I understand. Then she leaves. I'm alone with my phone and a text message from a man who's already won. I type a response. Asterisk where and when. Asterisk. The reply comes in seconds. Asterisk tomorrow. Noon. Come alone. Bring everything. Leave your conscience at home. You won't need it anymore. Asterisk. I spent my last free morning recording a video I hope Sienna never has to watch. I sit in the safe house bathroom, the only room without windows, phone propped against the mirror, and I try to explain the inexplicable. How a man can build something brilliant and destructive. How you can love someone completely and still fail them. How doing the right thing and doing the smart thing are sometimes opposite choices. If you're watching this, I say to the camera, to my daughter's face I'm imagining on the other end, it means I didn't come back. It means I chose protecting you over protecting myself. And Sienna, my voice breaks, that was the easiest choice I ever made. I tell her about the encryption software, about Elijah, about the moment I realized the weapon I built was being used to destroy people like her grandfather, Nina's father, who worked his whole life and died with nothing because men like Elijah treat the market like a video game. I don't tell her I'm scared. She doesn't need that weight. I send the video to Nina's email with a delayed delivery, 24 hours. If I don't cancel it, she'll receive it tomorrow morning. Then I drive south. The shipyard is exactly where Elijah said it would be, 40 miles south of San Francisco, off Highway 101. A rusted skeleton of America's industrial past. Abandoned cranes. Corroded shipping containers. Concrete docks crumbling into the bay. The kind of place where conversations end and bodies begin. I park near the water. Noon sun breaks through fog, turning everything silver and gray. My phone shows 11:58 a.m. I'm 2 minutes early. Elijah is already here. He's standing at the end of a dock, navy overcoat over his suit, hands in pockets, looking out at the water like a man contemplating philosophy. A black SUV idles 50 yards behind him. Driver inside. Engine running. I walk toward him. Each footstep on the concrete dock sounds like a countdown. Marcus. He doesn't turn. Punctual as always. I brought the data bridge. All the copies are deleted. You have my word. Your word. Now he turns. His expression is almost gentle. Do you know what your word is worth in this equation? It's all I have left. No. What you have left is a daughter who needs her father alive. He extends his hand. The device. I pull the data bridge from my pocket. Hold it up. First, I need assurances. Sienna doesn't get approached again. Nina doesn't get implicated. They're left alone. Of course. I'm not a monster, Marcus. I'm a businessman. You're giving me what I need. I have no reason to harm your family. And Kira? The investigation. Agent Voss will continue her quixotic crusade until she realizes she's chasing shadows. Without evidence, without departmental support, she'll eventually be reassigned to a field office in Nebraska or Montana. She'll spend the rest of her career processing background checks. He smiles. A quiet retirement for an idealist. Better than most get. I step forward, place the data bridge in his palm. There's something you should know, I say. Oh, Kira made copies. Before I could stop her. She's already started leaking to journalists. By tomorrow, every major outlet will have the FBI personnel files, the access logs, everything. Elijah's expression doesn't change. You're bluffing. Am I? For the first time since I've known him, I see uncertainty flicker across his face. Then Kira's voice cuts through the air. He's not. She's standing 30 yards behind us, near the rusted shipping containers. Black FBI jacket. Gun drawn but pointed at the ground. She's not alone. 4 other agents fan out behind her, tactical gear, weapons ready. Elijah sighs. Actually sighs. Like this is a minor inconvenience. Agent Voss. I was wondering when you'd make your entrance. He pockets the data bridge. Though I'm surprised. This seems rather melodramatic even for you. Elijah Cross, you're under arrest for securities fraud, wire fraud, witness tampering, and conspiracy. Kira's voice is steel. On the ground. Hands behind your head. Elijah doesn't move. With what evidence? The data you stole from my home? Inadmissible. The testimony of an informant who broke into my house? Worthless. You have nothing that will survive a preliminary hearing. Actually, we do. Kira steps forward. Marcus wasn't the only one wearing a wire yesterday. I had surveillance teams recording your meeting. Everything you said about knowing FBI protocols, about compromising my investigation, about accessing personnel files, all of it captured legally under federal wiretap provisions. Elijah looks at me. You knew. No, I say. But I hoped. And the data bridge, he asks. Kira smiles. Empty. We wiped it before Marcus handed it over. What you're holding is a very expensive thumb drive with nothing on it. For a moment, Elijah just stand there. Then he laughs. Actually laughs. A sound without humor. Acknowledgement of a game well played. Clever, he says. Though it won't matter. My attorneys will have me out before dinner. And Deputy Director Carlson is already in custody, Kira interrupts. Arrested 2 hours ago, along with 6 other FBI employees. The files Marcus extracted gave us everything we needed to move simultaneously. They're all in federal holding facilities, right now segregated, no contact with each other or outside counsel. The certainty drains from Elijah's face. You can't move that fast. The bureaucracy alone. I didn't use FBI channels. I went to the Inspector General. Gave them everything 3 days ago. They've been building parallel cases against Carlson and the others while we kept the investigation visible as a distraction. Kira's expression is cold. You were right about one thing. The corruption was in my house. So I burned my house down. Elijah's hand moves to his coat pocket. Don't, Kira says, raising her weapon. But he's not reaching for a gun. He pulls out a phone, presses a button, holds it up. If I don't check in with my people in 60 seconds, a very specific set of files gets released to very specific media outlets. Files about FBI surveillance overreach, constitutional violations, illegal wiretaps on American citizens without warrants. He looks at Kira. You think you're exposing corruption? I'll expose your entire agency as a domestic surveillance state. I'll make you the villain. Go ahead, Kira says quietly. Release them. Elijah blinks. Excuse me. Release them. Expose the FBI. Show the world what we've become. She lowers her weapon slightly. You think that threat scares me? My entire career has been spent watching the institution I believed in rot from the inside. If burning it down is what it takes to cut out the cancer, then burn it. For the first time, Elijah looks uncertain. You're bluffing, he says. Am I? They stare at each other across 30 feet of crumbling concrete. Then a gunshot shatters the standoff. It comes from the SUV. The driver, who I thought was just a driver, is out of the vehicle, weapon raised, firing not at the FBI agents, but at Elijah. The bullet catches him in the shoulder. He spins, stumbles, falls. Chaos erupts. FBI agents return fire. The driver goes down. Kira is shouting orders. I'm on the ground, hands over my head, trying to process what just happened. When the shooting stops, Elijah is on the dock, bleeding but alive. The driver is dead, and Kira is standing over Elijah, weapon trained on his head. Who sent him, she demands. Elijah coughs, blood on his lips. You still don't understand the game. Then explain it. I'm not the top of the pyramid, Agent Voss. I'm just another layer, another middleman. He laughs wetly. You arrest me, someone else takes my place. The system doesn't end because you caught one player. Kira looks at me, then back at Elijah. Maybe not, she says, but it's a start. 3 months later, I'm in a coffee shop in Portland, watching rain through windows, when my phone buzzes. News alert. Cross-trial concludes. Guilty on all counts. Elijah got 40 years. Carlson got 25. The other FBI employees took plea deals. The scandal consumed 2 news cycles and then faded, replaced by the next crisis, the next outrage. Kira was right. Nothing really changed. The market still churns. The wealthy still play games with other people's money. The institutions meant to protect us still harbor rot. But 17 corrupt agents are gone. 1 billionaire is in prison. And the files we leaked created enough public pressure that Congress actually passed reform legislation. Not enough. Never enough. But something. Sienna is at the table across from me, doing homework. She forgave me, eventually. Not because I deserved it, but because she's better than I am. Nina and I are cordial now. Co-parents who acknowledge the past without living in it. I don't build encryption software anymore. I consult for nonprofits on data security. The money is terrible. The work is meaningful. I sleep better. Kira left the FBI 3 weeks after the arrests. She works for a congressional oversight committee now. We have coffee sometimes. Talk about her cases. About Sienna. About whether the system can be fixed or just endured. I think about Elijah's question about moral luck. About whether we're judged by our intentions or our consequences. I built a weapon. Someone used it to destroy lives. I helped stop them, but that doesn't undo the damage. Doesn't resurrect Kira's father. Doesn't restore the retirement funds or the bankrupted families. Maybe that's the point. Maybe accountability isn't about balancing scales. Maybe it's about living with the weight of what you've built and spending whatever time you have left trying to build something better. Sienna looks up from her homework. Dad? You okay? I smile. Yeah, sweetheart. I'm okay. And for the first time in years, it's almost true. The choices we make when everything's on the line define who we really are. Marcus chose his daughter over his freedom. Kira chose justice over her career. What would you choose? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story made you think, hit that subscribe button. These stories take weeks to research and craft, and your support makes them possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.